4 p.m. on Tuesday, February 22nd, 2022. Call to order the Norwich Public Works and Capital Improvement Committee. All three members are present. Everybody got a draft copy of the minutes from Tara from our last meeting. I'll entertain a motion to accept the minutes.
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes.
I'll second the motion.
Motion made and seconded. Is there any discussion, corrections, deletions, or other comments on the minutes from the committee?
No.
Hearing none, then by roll call vote, Alderwoman Gould,
Yes.
Alderman Singh,
Yes.
and the chair votes yes. The minutes are adopted as presented. Thank you. Moving on to item number 3 on our agenda, citizen comment. Are there any citizens in the meeting today that would like to make a comment to the committee?
Seems like there's a representative from Manafort attending the meeting.
Yes, I see Steve. It looks like Heisman.
Yes, good afternoon. This is Steve Heisman.
Welcome.
How you doing?
Very well, thank you.
Just wanted to kind of listen in and see if you guys had any updates on the Sherman Street project, and we don't have any general comments at this time.
Okay. Thank you for joining us. I'm sure that will be part of the director's report, but continuing on here, are there any other citizens present that would like to make a comment to the committee? Are there any other citizens that would like to make a comment to the committee? Hearing and seeing none, citizen comment is closed. Thank you. Moving on, item number 4, old business, sub item A, Public Works project updates. Take it away, Mr. McLaughlin.
Okay, so the first project I'll update on is the Sherman Street Bridge. We opened bids for that on March 9th, and Manafort was the apparent low bidder. Bids were very competitive. We received 8 bids. 3 of them were, the 3 low bids were all relatively close, within 500,000. The low bid, the apparent low bid was 10.3 million, which was pretty much right in line with what the engineer's estimate had been. And to get 3 bids that tight was, looks like the prices are probably pretty good. There's the evaluation of the low bid is ongoing. So for the next project I'll comment on is the Uncasleep Heritage Park. We finalized a scope with SLR Corporation, which is the company that had done the concept plan for the master park there. It was Malone and McBroom at the time, but then they've since been acquired by SLR. It's the same people that were working on it before. So we finalized the scope and the man-hour fee with that, and we're in the process of awarding it for them to get going on the design. Up in Mohegan Park is some of the ARP projects. I just thought I'd update you on those. So we had a playground replacement there for that toddler playground by the beach area. That equipment has been ordered. We had put it out to bid back a month or so ago. Now the lead time on play equipment right now is kind of long, so we're not sure exactly when that'll be in, but we're hoping, it'll be in by, within 2 or 3 months, so we can get it out there when the weather's good. Also up there with the fitness equipment, that's been a little problematic. We put it out to bid twice, and both times the contractors that bid on it for installation, which is what we wanted, weren't providing the equipment, the same equipment that we wanted, the same quality. The contractor, the manufacturer that's got the equipment that is what our engineer really wanted, because it's better equipment, they don't do installation. So I think we're going to end up ordering the equipment and having our guys install it. It goes on small concrete pads that are like 8 inches thick, and they're kind of like a sidewalk pad. So we're going to probably just do that, have our guys install the pads and the equipment, so we can get the higher quality equipment that we want and do it right. And the disc golf is moving along. We laid out a preliminary course for that, and I think some of the light clearing work might be ongoing. With my mobility the way it is, I haven't been able to get out and see things as much as I would have liked, because I had strain. I tore the tendon in my knee there in January, and I had surgery 4 weeks ago. So I'm slowly, getting mobility back, but we have other people doing, checking on things. Another project that's brand new is and you probably saw it, the city manager announced it, I believe, at the council meeting, another community connectivity grant that we got for $600,000 for sidewalks on West Town Street, basically from the school over to the courtyard, the Marriott here, that section there. It's a you see well-worn paths in the areas that don't have sidewalks, and the areas that do have sidewalks, they're in pretty poor condition. So I think that's a good place to spend this grant, and we just got the award, so we'll be moving forward with that. We do have some on-call. We had put out a bid for on-call engineers back in the early fall, so we have some like 3 pre-approved engineering firms that we have on board now, and we'll get prices from those, that smaller group, and then and see, for the design, because the city will be responsible for the design for that sidewalk project. The grant could cover up to 100% of the construction cost, but it doesn't cover the design cost. So we'll be using our city funds, probably with the road infrastructure bond funds will also cover sidewalks. So I'll be using those funds to pay for the design of the sidewalks. Of course, most of the rest of the construction projects are pretty much on winter hiatus right at the moment, such as Dunham Street, for instance. So that's kind of a summary of where we stand with the projects.
Okay, thank you for that. Members, any questions for the director?
I think they're moving at a good pace, keeping weather condition in mind. So, yeah, hopefully, I guess next month you'll have a much more update.
More going on, yeah.
Yeah,
Well, maybe not by next month, but certainly by
April.
We'll be getting things going by our next meeting will be March 21st. Hopefully we have a warm March.
Hope for the best. I think, Joe, you're muted.
Thank you. If there's nothing else on project updates, then we'll move on to item B, property disposition.
Okay, I got a couple things under that. So the 98 Washington Street, that I guess it's called the Cassidy House.
Yep.
So I think when we had discussed it back a year or so ago, we had suggested that the dangerous building board of review be the kind of committee that oversees it. Now, in speaking to Deanna, they don't have a quorum and they haven't been meeting. So I talked to her about having the Public Works Committee be the committee that kind of makes the decisions on like selecting the final decision on once we put out. See, the first step is to put out a request for proposals, and Bob had drafted that up, but in it had said, it's based on the committee of sale or whatever, or with the dangerous buildings, that was kind of an unknown. So I kind of want to, I think I want to put in there the Public Works Committee as the committee that oversees that, since I don't think there's another active committee that would, could pick it up right away. I don't know, maybe Stacy has opinion on that too.
I was just going to ask, Stacy, would you like to weigh in on that idea?
Well, I think once the request for proposals go out and then we get the responses, then depending on what we've got, we get back for responses, then it either could go, stay here, or we could form, dangerous buildings could form a committee of sale to look into that. We still have members who sit on the committee, although we have not met in person in quite some time. But I think we have to wait and see what we get back, if anything, to see
That's
what
true.
somebody would like to do with the building, and then vet, do they have the wherewithal to do something constructive with the building. I hate to see it. I don't want to talk about demolishing it at any point in time. But if we don't get any good requests for proposals, we could do a second round, or we could, list it with a real estate broker as another option. But, I think that, the Public Works Committee should, look and see what happens after the request for proposals go out, see what we get back, and then decide where to go from there.
See, the thing was that the way the requests for proposals are usually written, it usually says what group or what committee is going to be overseeing the process. I guess we could just leave it and say the appropriate city committee, or.
Well, we could leave it, wide open, or we could say the Public Works Committee, will review the request, Pat. And
Yeah.
then if we decide that we've got a good proposal, then we could form a specific committee just to follow that process.
Okay.
So I think we could leave it either general, that a city agency, or we could name the Public Works Committee and then go from there.
That was my thought, that we just kind of name the Public Works Committee, and then, we could certainly then do it something, they could refer it then to somebody else depending on how the proposals come back or whatever.
Right. Yeah. So I don't have a problem with leaving it sort of, to the Public Works Committee or a city agency to be named at a later date. However you want to word it is fine with me, but I'd like to see something go out. Spring is coming, and let's see what somebody wants to do with that property.
Okay, so then do you need, or for this, sorry about that. For the sake of continuity, do we need a motion and a vote on the record for the RFP, or?
I'm not sure if we need it, but it probably wouldn't hurt, but I don't know if it's necessary. I just wanted to, before I put it out, the RFP out, I wanted consensus on how to handle it,
Well, I don't know, Singh, do you have any thoughts on that? I like what Stacy has to say as far as keeping it in here in this committee until we know what we're dealing with.
Well, the thing is that, I do think it's a better idea having Public Works Committee deal with that if that committee is more active, put it that way. But I do feel there is still need of having some kind of getting the process done. We should involve Dangerous Building Committee and have them give a positive recommendation if everything looks good. Like, I don't want to ignore that committee completely. And if we are reaching to some point, we should just make sure we get some kind of recommendation from Dangerous Building Committee on it, just so they have been involved in that. you know,
Yeah, I
but
don't- I
Public
don't-
Works Committee can do all the legwork and, you know, and we can ask for recommendations from Dangerous Building Committee when we are in the position that we have something concrete or solid to move along.
Well, I agree with you, and I agree with Stacy that we want to keep the process moving forward. So for sake of continuity, I'll say that I'll entertain a motion that the RFP for 98 Washington Street have a provision in it that the respondents will respond to the Public Works Committee. And once we have those responses, as Stacy said, then we'll make make the decision if making a motion and I'm discussing at the same time. So I'm not making the motion. I'm asking for a motion that the Public Works Committee be the point of contact for the RFP on 98 Washington Street.
Could I just interrupt? It wouldn't necessarily be the point of contact. It would be like the reviewing body, basically. The purchasing agent's the point of contact.
Contact, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It would
okay.
be the reviewing authority or whatever.
All right,
Right.
so I'll take a motion, in that vein.
I'll make the motion that we have the reviewing body be the Public Works Department
Committee.
I'll second
Committee, Public Works and Capital Improvements Committee.
committee.
All right. Seconded by
Second.
Singh. Any further discussion? I'll only say, other than to say that once we have that information, as Alderwoman Gould said, then if the Dangerous Buildings Board of Review is ready to meet and can become the committee of sale, then fine. If not, then we'll figure out something, but we keep the progress on this moving forward. So any other discussions?
We need to vote.
I will. That's why I'm asking for discussion first. Okay, see, hearing no other discussion, by roll call, Alderwoman Gould,
Yes,
Alderman Singh,
Yes.
and the chair votes yes, so unanimously carried.
Okay, another item for property disposition would be the pieces of property on Grove Street and Grove Place. I don't know, probably Joe and Stacy probably remember those. They're very small parcels. They're actually, there's a little tiny triangular piece at where Grove Place comes off of Grove Street. And then there's a piece in the back at the end of Grove Place that's 0.07 acres. You know, so and the other one 0.09 acres. They're little tiny pieces of property. The abutter, when we reviewed them back in October of 2020, we had said the recommendation was to just keep it for now and then reevaluate when there's a new property owner for the adjacent property. Now there's a new owner for the adjacent property, and he would like these pieces so that he can have better access around his existing parcels. And we want it, the lower piece, he doesn't really want the lower triangular piece, but the city doesn't want to hang on to that one either. We just as soon get rid of the whole conglomeration of small parcels, as long as they're be incorporated into his existing lot and not be a new building lot. They're not built big enough really, but we just want to make that clear too, that they be incorporated into his existing parcel. So that, and I've talked to Deanna about that, and she and Brian also, and they both, you know, Brian actually was the one that kind of started that discussion with the new property owner, and that would be what we would like to do with those parcels.
And is he willing, just based on conversation, to take them both?
Yes, he kind of reluctantly, he didn't really want to take the triangular piece, but he will agree to take that one too.
So that would require council action to
Yes.
convey those. So I guess I'll entertain a motion that we recommend to the full council that city manager and corporation council, I guess, work to convey these properties to a budding property owner? Is that an appropriate? would
Yeah.
that be appropriate action? Okay, so I'll entertain a motion on that.
You could maybe say it to a budding property owner on Grove Place, you know, because his properties are on Grove Place.
Yep.
I'll second it.
Well, so I asked, I don't want to make the motion myself from the
So I'll
chair.
make a motion
Right,
that we, that a recommendation is made to the full city council that the city manager and corporate council convey the property on Grove Street and Grove Place to the abutter on Grove Place, with the caveat that he must combine those parcels into his existing parcel.
perfect. And Alderman Singh there, I'll take your second.
Yep.
Any further discussion or information, or comment on that?
Just a quick question. Are we getting paid for those parcels? As a
We-
city?
We, you know, I don't know if it's if you have to get some payment like $1, but there,
It's usually a quick claim for $1. Let's get it on the tax rolls, and that's how he'll pay us.
Get them all combined as well. Absolutely. Yep. Oh,
get
okay,
get
fair
rid of the
question.
liability.
Right,
Okay,
because
so
the non-buildable lots, that, you know,
Yeah.
they don't have any value to the city or to anyone else other than the abutter.
right,
And he would not,
Absolutely.
he's not adding up enough property on to, other than maybe make his driveway bigger or something. You know,
Hmm.
these are tiny parcels.
Okay.
sure. Okay, so motion made and seconded, again by roll call, Alderwoman Gould,
Yes,
Alderman Singh,
Yes.
chair votes yes, unanimously carried to make that recommendation. Thank you very much. Anything else under property disposition, Mr. McLaughlin?
That was all I had.
Anything from the members about current property that?
I don't
This-
have anything.
Okay,
Well, I'll just say thank you to Pat, because the sign for street sign between Summit Street and Gare Avenue has been up. So that's great.
I'll pass that along. Yep. I didn't put it up personally.
all right, so if there's nothing else under property disposition, we'll move on to item number 5 on our agenda, new business. Sub item A, waterfowl control at Brown Park.
So you know, this issue of so many waterfowl down there has been bothering me and other people for quite some time now. I've tried to get people to stop feeding them, but that's a tough one. I think we've made some progress in that regard, but not enough probably. But so I had this person call me up a couple of weeks ago who has a license with the DEP to get rid of waterfowl. And now I've seen it in other parts of the state. I've seen people that do it, but I've never been approached by someone here that lives so close by with an actual proposal for doing it. So this person's gonna, for $500 a week, she's gonna go down there twice a day and try to chase out the waterfowl with between her, mostly her border collie that she has, will be doing that work. So you don't necessarily need your, you know, a vote or anything on this, but I wanted to be transparent about it and get other people's thoughts and opinions on it before I do it, because it's, you know, I've sent it to the Pat Daly, sent it to Mike Driscoll. You know, the city manager I sent it to him too, but I haven't heard from him, but I did hear from Mike Driscoll and Pat Daly. And just wanted, you know, other people to be aware of what I was thinking of doing before I actually did it.
What was the feedback that you got from Corporation Counsel and from the police chief?
Well, the police chief just said, yeah, she might run into some, you should have somebody from Public Works maybe down with her the first few times to explain the process, although she probably is quite capable, but I would certainly be willing and, to be down there or have somebody else down there some of the times when she's there in the beginning. Perhaps a police officer might be appropriate too. But Mike Driscoll, but he wasn't, it's a tough one, it's like some people are going to be not happy about chasing ducks and geese out of the area. That was his point, some people might not be too happy about it, but hey, I think it's just such a nuisance, all that excrement down there. Whenever you want to have any kind of event down there, it's just, you got to constantly be looking where you're walking because it's just such a mess.
Well, it's getting to the point now where we've discussed this in this committee, right? Where we know that the feeding of the waterfowl pollutes the water. We know that the excrement pollutes the water. That not only is it an annoyance when, because you got to watch where you're walking, there's no way to avoid stepping in it, but it becomes a safety hazard because it's slippery. Right? It makes it so. And to me, it's a health hazard. I wouldn't want to be tracking that stuff into my house, right?
Well, in the birds, it's a hazard for the birds. They spread disease more.
Yeah, right.
It's not good for the birds to be feeding them this food because this is not what is found in their natural habitat.
Right.
Yeah.
They don't get Wonder Bread,
Delivered. Right.
Even if they
pretzels or chips or cookies or whatever people are throwing out to them.
But even if they fed them grain or something, it's still, because of the concentration of the birds, it's bad for the health, from a health standpoint.
Right. They need to go find their better natural habitat than there in the harbor.
So
Did Emily give you any idea how long she thought that this would take?
Oh, it might take a couple of months. At least, and then she can cut back the services after a little while. But because I've been down a person here in the engineering office, I've got a little bit of extra funds I can apply because we've been short-staffed here.
Yeah, that was my next question. Do you have money in the budget? Because this is at $500 a week.
So it's like $2,000 a month for the next few months.
I was going to say, right? Yeah.
I have $11 million budget, so I think, but I right just within the engineering, and I can use professional services because it is a professional service. Really.
Okay. As long as you got the money, Pat, I don't have a problem. We need to do something about this. I believe that somebody either from Public Works or the police department might want to, just be on call for the first few times that she's down there in case anybody is hassling her about, having her dog, chasing away these birds. But it is not the right place for them to be. It really isn't.
So this woman, I guess she was a police officer for a while, and now she's a dispatcher too. So she does have a background of dealing with the public. So she's but I will take that advice about having an extra person with her. But I think she's probably gonna be a good fit for it too.
So I'm thinking about the dollars and the cents, right? So if she went 3 months, that's 14 weeks at $500, right? So that's $7,000. And I know that you have the money, but compare $7,000 against what we anticipate the effectiveness is going to be. What do we know about this particular technique that she's pitching, right? And its effectiveness and its and not just in the immediate short term, but also over the long term. Is this going to be something where you're going to have a $10,000 line item every year from here on out for the lady with the dog that chases the geese and the ducks? at the Brown Park. I'm not making fun of it. I'm saying, right, you know?
Yeah. Oh, we'll have to, we'll have to see how effective it is, but yeah, I mean, it might be something we need to keep budgeting for. But I mean, it's just like, it's got to the point where, we got to do something,
No argument at all. And we know for sure that the DEP is signed off on this particular tactic and
she's
methodology.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I know that they wouldn't guarantee that it's going to work, but at least we're not going to get hammered by them, right? Because, we don't know for sure, or we don't have in writing that this is an acceptable means according to their regulations.
Yeah, no, I mean, she's permitted for that, but I guess there's somebody, I can try to figure out the right person at the DEP to ask that to. I'll also run it by the Harbor Management Commission too, probably, so they,
right.
So they are aware of it too,
Well, I think we should continue to investigate it, either way. And I said, as you said, I mean, I don't know that it needs any action from us, but I do appreciate you getting us in on the ground floor so that, we could talk about it a little bit.
Yeah, because when you'll hear the complaints if and when they start. I'm sure some people won't be happy with it,
Right.
But
I would think that she's had some good results, because I don't know if Deep would keep giving her a license to do this if they, weren't seeing that her tactics were working.
well, I don't know about her specifically, but I know it has been successful in other places, mostly fields. So this is a little bit different, but she has the border collie swims out into the water and she's got a kayak. So I guess, she's done it before too. So,
Right. That's different than running around in a planted field and chasing the geese around. Right.
yeah,
And the water rips through there pretty quickly, especially on where the Shetucket comes in. So,
yeah.
I'd be concerned about the dog as well. Right.
Yeah.
But I mean, when you hire a contractor, they understand what they're doing and they know their business.
She's got insurance, she's already shown me her insurance. I'll just have her name the city as additional insured.
Well, yeah, I wouldn't want us to be, cruelty to animals on behalf of the dog, right? Kind of complaints, right? That's,
Oh.
well, I guess we can take that as it comes, and, it's.
Yeah, I don't think she wants to endanger the dog though either, because she did say,
Right.
like,
Of
if there
course
were
not, yeah.
swans.
She probably, she loves the dog. There's no,
Yeah,
right,
yeah.
right, absolutely.
She did mention if there were swans, then they don't do swans because they're so aggressive and mean. And I don't think swans are a big problem down there. I've never seen them, but it doesn't mean they're, they can't be there, but
Right,
it's mostly the geese and the ducks.
right.
Now, with her license, there is a section at the bottom that says that she needs to submit an annual report of her activities. I wonder if we could get a previous report of her activities from Deep, or if she could, forward us a copy of what she's done before, or in what other communities, if we wanted to vet her further, if, she worked with the town of Milford or another town that had this problem with, similar to ours, where you had ducks on a waterfront rather than in a field or et cetera, and see how she worked out with them.
Yeah, and then now I guess this would be the guy to contact here too, the guy at the DEP. Chris.
Right, that's what I'm saying. It says that to mail your annual report to Chris Van.
Yeah,
So
and
I
I'm sure
wonder-
she would. I mean, that's basically public information, so I'm sure she would share it with us. So, yeah,
I'm sorry, Stacy, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, that's all right. It's fine.
Okay. So did she give you an indication of when she should start?
Yeah, it should be pretty soon, actually. She said like the end of February, March is when they start looking for nests and stuff.
Yeah, well, again, I don't know that you need permission from us as much as, because, you're the head of your department and I know you know how to do your job, so.
I just
But
didn't want people to
again,
be
I do
surprised.
appreciate, you letting us know that we're considering doing this. And, from my thought, let's see how it goes. If you think that it's a good tactic, then we can't sit back and do nothing on this one. The problem's getting worse and worse down there every year.
Yeah, I
Okay.
agree. Let's try something.
Right, yep.
Okay.
So, okay, anything else under new business that may not be on our agenda?
Well, I think we'll
Okay.
talk about Champlain Place
Yeah.
under other maybe.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, so I'd like to move on to other business, and because of the information that we got on this, again, being sensitive to the agenda and to public notification, I'd like to ask for a motion to add to our agenda for today, under other business, the letter and complaint and information that we got from the resident as at 9 Champion Lane.
It's Beverly Jones, 9 Champlain Place.
From Miss Jones. Do I have a motion to that effect?
I'll make the motion.
Second?
I'll second.
Seconded, okay. By roll call, Alderwoman Gould?
Yes.
I'm sorry, didn't ask for discussion. I didn't think there would be any on a addition to the agenda, but no discussion. Alderwoman Gould votes yes. Alderman Singh?
Yes.
And the chair votes yes. Okay, so added under item 6, complaint from Ms. Beverly Jones, 9
Champlain Place.
Champlain Place. Thank you. Go ahead, Pat.
Well, so on the map that she had sent in, she had drawn some lines. I mean, the city owns the property that the tennis courts are on that are behind her house. In the recreation department, actually, it's not Public Works that maintains that park area. It's the recreation department that maintains that.
Mhm.
We, where she drew in some other lines and said city owned, city doesn't own any other property other than that tennis court property and Champlain Place itself. So there's some trees back there, I guess, on the back side of that property, and she has tried to get the city to cut them down or trim them back. But I mean, that's really a recreation maintained area. We don't go back there. I don't know. It's it doesn't look like in the pictures that I saw, it doesn't look like there's any really dangerous large trees. They're all fairly small trees. I don't know.
Actually, some of the trees were fallen in the picture.
Yeah.
But he's trying to get rid of it.
But once they're on the ground like that, they're falling. They're not doing any harm.
Well,
You know,
I don't know, it looked to me like when I was looking through these, it looked to me like the few of the trees have fallen toward, it looks like the bit of a guardrail at the end of the street, and then her fence along the back of her property. And that, that's an uphill slope from the tennis courts up to the street, or actually up to her property.
yeah.
Um,
And she's got like a little retaining wall there, I think,
mhm.
along that side. But yeah, it's quite a slope from the tennis courts up there. It's like not easy terrain to
Trust me, I made an arrest there and chased a person all the way up that hill. Well, it was a long time ago when I was a much younger man, but yeah, it's steep and nasty back there.
So I don't know. I mean, but the rec department, I guess, I could talk to the rec department and we could maybe do like some kind of joint effort to maybe trim back some of the trees right along that are closest to the property line. But I don't know. I mean, we're not going to go back in there and clear cut that property or anything. And you can't even get equipment. I mean, it's not like we can put a bucket truck or anything anywhere near there. It's, because she's got the property, can't get in there from Champlain Place because she's got, that area like fenced in and everything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the one thing I didn't do was take a look at the GIS map. I only looked at what she gave us.
Which I think one of the pictures was similar, or I mean, we've done work like where the road, as far as the road drainage kind of pitches away from her house off to the side of that garage. And that's where there's like a little stone swale that we had built a few years ago. And I
Yep.
believe that's, still functioning and still working so the water that comes down Champlain Place keeps to the left there and away from her house, to my knowledge, but.
Yeah, and I've actually been down that. I've actually been to this house. I've been on this street, and it's interesting. I mean, I think that if I remember correctly, you step off of the curb and you go down some stairs into her front yard. It's a challenging little tiered area right there in front of the house.
Yeah, so I mean, the mayor's office just asked us that we put it on our agenda, discuss it. So
Might be a
Well,
good
I
idea
think-
if you wanna take a ride up there and see if drainage is still working the way it was
Right.
working 2 years ago. And of course, one of that tree which is fallen, yeah, there's no easy way to get rid of it. You probably have to chain it but there's again no need to remove it because it's already not hurting anyone. It's in the ground.
yeah,
Um,
I mean, if are some that look like they're in danger of falling or they're hanging over
Yeah.
much, I guess, we could try to cut those down by hand as much as we can do back there. But that would be with the rec department because we've never been back there in the wooded part. I don't think rec department probably has either. She makes it sounds like somebody's like they were dragging stuff up to the top of the hill near her property or something. It sounded like almost that she was saying, but I can't see that's the case. That's just leaves and stuff that have fallen on the ground there from the woods,
So Pat, will you be able to at least address the drainage issues?
Well, we can verify the drainage is working properly. Yeah, I believe it is because I haven't seen it myself. I haven't been out there myself yet. I think Brian might have went and looked at it, but then he's not here today because I had forwarded it to him.
Mm-hmm.
But we will look and make sure that's not if it is in need of any maintenance, we'll take care of that.
So that space that is right at the end of Swan Avenue, it looks like there's probably an old stone wall in there, right? That comes all the way down to Champlain Place, right? Is that, I click on it, I can't find.
Well, it's a paper street essentially.
I was just
part of
yeah.
Swan Ave.
Yeah,
It's not something the city ever accepted. We
Right.
only accepted the front part, the earlier portion of
yeah.
Swan Ave. That's not, we don't do anything down there. It's a paper street essentially.
Right.
I mean, she's trying to, she's saying, well, that's city owned or something, but it's not really.
I mean, it's hard to read on the, but is there a dam up there? Is that what she's saying, that there's a city dam?
There is, not to my knowledge.
Okay, because where it's from what I printed off from Maps Online, and then she's written in city property.
Yep.
She's pointed out her house, then she's got it's either, on my printer it came out red, it said city dam.
Yeah, I don't know what that means. Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's not even city property over there. That's part of that house
Street?
lot.
Oh, that's
Part of the house lot.
Oh,
The yellow line on that mapping is what the GIS property lines are.
okay.
She drew that line across there, and I don't know but that's on the other person's land, the person that owns that house at the end of Swan Ave.
Right, I was trying to figure out if somebody, I think I said, oh, maybe somebody's got a dam on their property on Swan Avenue, really?
But that wouldn't affect her anyway. I don't think. She's up higher than that.
Right.
So I think that the answer is that you're right, that a public works crew and a rec department crew need to meet over there and, maybe come up from the bottom and see what the heck's going on, and just see if there are any dangerous trees that are hanging over, all the abutting property, and get those on the ground.
Yeah, see what they can do from the ground.
Right, and then
We can't get
verify
in there.
that the drainage is working as best as it can to
Right.
keep water away from the house.
And that's about all we can
Right,
reasonably be expected to do. Okay.
okay. All right. I'm glad we get to talk about that. Anything else under other business? Okay, hearing and seeing none, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion that we adjourn.
Seconded by Alderman Singh. Again, by roll call, Alderwoman Gould,
Yes.
Alderman Singh,
Yes.
and the chair votes yes. We are adjourned at 4:48 PM. Thank you all very much for your time.
Pat, get better soon.
Yeah, it's a slow recovery process, but I had my first physical therapy today, but I can't really do much because I can barely, I can't move it much. So
Well,
my big exercise is flexing my quad.
all right, well, keep doing your exercises.
Yeah.
Yeah, stretch and strengthen those muscles around the joint. All right, again, thank you, everyone, and have a good rest of the week, and get ready for the fun on
Tonight.
Friday. Yeah,
Friday, another storm
Friday.
Friday, yeah.
right.
Oh, do we have any snowfall totals yet? What's your prediction, Pat? Did you look at your crystal ball?
Oh, no, I don't know. I'm gonna wait till closer, but it looks like we'll be coming in early on Friday morning. That's
Yeah. Okay.
more
All right.
overtime.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks again.
Okay. Yeah.